Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on today's webinar. What we'll be discussing is GDPR, but also more specifically how HR software can help protect and make sure your business is compliant, and importantly done in a cost-effective way. So you will have received communications from us over the last few weeks regarding GDPR and how we're working with you to ensure you are supported. Today's focus is going to be more specifically on your HR system and how that can support you. So at the moment, you may have processes in place whereby you're managing holidays, new starters, handbooks in a certain way, and that may be done through Excel spreadsheets and email and so on. So you will have your processes in place, but what we're going to look at is how you can actually introduce a system to make that process more effective, and to make it quicker, to make it secure, and how it can be done in a way that makes sure you are compliant from GDPR. So what we've done as a company is we have gone to market and we have looked at which software developers out there provide HR software. And we have selected one that, based on our customers and how we know that you work, will suit your requirements. So we've selected a partner called Breathe HR, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Bethan, who is our partner account manager, and she's very much an extension of the HR Inspire team. And later on, I'm going to hand over to her to give you an overview of the system. But we've partnered with Breathe HR because we believe that their software is the best out there, and that by adding our HR expertise to it, we can add real value to our customers. Importantly, this partnership means that we can ensure you, our customers, have cost-effective access to this system. Now, cost-effective is often a term that's bandied around and means little without some context. So to give you that, it really is cost-effective. It can start per month from as little as £9, and that's not per user, that's per organisation as a whole. Where HR Inspire add a lot of value to this system is we provide the experienced managed service around it. So when you're looking at software, there's a lot of considerations. How are you going to implement it? How are you going to ensure that it's designed to meet your needs? How do you administer it on an ongoing basis? What happens if you have support questions? There's a lot to consider, and that's where HR Inspire come in. We really wrap around this system and make sure you as an organisation are supported and you can use this system effectively, and that it helps your business in the ways that you need it to. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Bethan. As I say, she's our partner account manager at Breathe HR. She's the Breathe HR expert, and she's going to give you an overview of the system.
Thank you, Jo. Good morning, everybody. My name's Bethan, and as Jo kindly mentioned, I am the Partner Account Manager at Breathe, working very closely with HR Inspire. So what I'm going to do today is first and foremost show you around Breathe, but also show you the 6 building blocks in terms of how Breathe can help you comply with GDPR. So first and foremost, Breathe is what we call a cloud-based system, which in a nutshell means providing you have internet access, you can access your account on the go. So this is fantastic if you have people that work remotely or if they're on the road an awful lot. You can access your account on any device. There's also a cost-saving element to it as well. So you're not having to pay another company to install a piece of software and also maintain it for you. It's all done by us. So the first point is to look after the data you have. Security. So if I asked you at the moment, where is your data being stored and how is it being looked after? Is your answer an Excel spreadsheet? Is it a filing cabinet? Is it a shared file on your computer, for example, Dropbox? Well, what's the security behind that? Who has keys to that filing cabinet? Well, Breathe is incredibly tight on data security. The security of your data is of our utmost priority. For your knowledge, our servers are with Amazon Web Servers, AWS, and they're ISO accredited 27001. They're the most renowned and secure in the world. So to log into Breathe, we ask for a username and a password which is safer than using a pair of keys. And point number 2 is you only hold relevant data. HR Inspire can most definitely support you in terms of the implementation of the system, but as a result, you are led to hold only data that is necessary for each employee. I have now logged into my account using my email address and password, and I've been taken to my HR dashboard. Now, later on, we will explore the different levels of access and permissions within Breathe, but at the moment, a HR user will give you full access of your account. What we're trying to do is give you visibility of things that are going on in the company. So as you can see, in the next 7 days, I've got a couple of asset reminders that have come through. People have got birthdays and work anniversaries as well. And it will also prompt me with any tasks that I need to action. Now, the primary purpose of Breathe is centralising your employee information. You'll have an employee list, and from here you can access everybody's profiles, and you can see exactly what information you have stored within their profile page. I've gone to an individual's profile here, and as I scroll down, you'll see the amount of information that you can store, such as their job description and department, putting a name to a face with a profile picture, and their personal details. So I can see exactly what information is stored within their profile. Point number 3, only relevant people have access to data. So in the light of GDPR, you have to be aware of who has access to what information. Within Breathe, you can assign different user roles. That encompasses the HR user, which we've just logged in as, the line manager, or employee. So in terms of the employee view, they can clearly see what information you hold against them. Every member of staff has a My Dashboard, and as you can see, it's anything that's going on in my world. But I will also have access to my own profile page so I can see all my own personal information. Key points: employees cannot access each other's information. In terms of line managers, you can decide exactly what information they can see in regards to their team that they're responsible for. So what we're trying to do is take the pressure off you a little bit and giving the tools and resources to your managers so they can effectively manage their team. So as you can see here, I've given my managers a lot of flexibility, and I've said they can approve their team's holiday, they can add and record sickness for their team, but I'm not comfortable with giving them access to their team's salary information. Point number 4, the data subject, the employee, has the right to know what data you hold. So earlier on, we popped to an employee's profile page, and this individual would be able to go in and see pretty much exactly the same information for herself. So she can see that I've got her address details in here. She can see when her probation date is coming to an end. She can see if her social media accounts are in there, etc. But on top of that, we can also help with document storage. So if you've got employee contracts, for example, HR Inspire can support you in terms of creating them, but also uploading them to the individual's profile. Now, coming back into who actually has access to this, you can set the visibility on the document that you're uploading as well. And the great thing about this is that this individual can access her contract at any time. And point number 5, now this is a really important point. Once an employee has left the company, they can do 2 things. They can file a subject access request, which as a result you can log in to Breathe and provide them with the information you have stored against their record, but they can also ask for their information to be deleted. In Breathe, delete means delete. If you choose to delete a piece of information, that's it. It's completely wiped from our servers. And there's 2 different ways you can go about this. So at the bottom of the employee's profile page, you have the facility to completely wipe their record if you wish. Now, the question you've got to ask yourself is, do I still need to store this information? And is it necessary for me to store this? So we give you the flexibility to still hold some of the information if it is necessary. You can mark an employee as an ex-employee, and as a result, that will block the employee's access from the system, but you can still refer back to their information if needs be. Now, it may not be necessary for me to keep all her information, such as what her work extension was or what her direct dial was. So as a result, rather than deleting the entire profile, I can simply remove the relevant bits of information from her profile without deleting it completely. And point number 6, data should be accurate and kept up to date. At Breathe, we try to encourage self-service. So when I say self-service, it'll be a case of employees can look at the holiday calendar, they can request holiday, but as you saw earlier, they can have access to their own information. So employees have the facility to update their own personal details. For example, I've moved address, I can log into my account and update my address details, and you will be notified. But on top of that, employees can update things like their emergency contact details. Another key area that I'd quite like to point out within this list is our asset management area. So another element of GDPR is auditing. Depends on what industry you're in. You may have an auditor that comes in to evaluate, okay, what equipment have you issued to people? When I say equipment, that could be things such as a laptop, a phone, or a set of keys. Now, as soon as you've issued it, you can log into Breathe and record it. And on top of that, you can also set follow-up dates and expiry reminders. Once the auditor comes into the office, you can provide them with a report of the equipment that you've issued to everybody, export it to Excel and hand it over to that auditor. Another key area to point out is our company documents area. So HR Inspire can help you with things like your employee handbooks, but Breathe gives you the mechanism to actually store that information. So as you can see here, I've uploaded an employee handbook, but let's work through a really quick example. I've got a handbook and I need everybody to read it by the end of May. And going back to setting the permissions, you can actually decide who this document goes to. You can upload your file and there's no limit in terms of file types, and you can store as many documents in Breathe as you like. And then as soon as you create the document, we would ping out an email to the audience letting them know, of which will prompt them to do 2 things. First of which is read the document and then date stamp it to confirm that they've read it. And as you can see, my team are doing abysmally here. I've got one employee who's read the document, but I can see when she's read it, and I can just send a quick read reminder email to all those who have yet to read the document. So that saves me manually chasing people up, printing bits of paper out and asking them to sign it. It's all through the system. So that was a really quick overview of Breathe, and hopefully I was able to highlight some key points in terms of how we can help you with your GDPR compliancy. I'll pass you back over to Joe, but thank you very much everybody for listening, and I hope you enjoyed a little bit of an insight into Breathe.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Beth. And I think that was a really good overview of the system. And I think the key learning from today is that GDPR is a reason for organisations to look at the way that they're currently working and improve those processes. So there's lots of ways that you'll already be working in terms of holiday management and document management. What this is about is a system that enables you to work more effectively. And if we look specifically at GDPR, we've seen that there are new rights that employees have, be that the right to access their own data, be that the right for them to ask you to provide that data to them easily, or as an employee, the responsibility to make sure that that data is kept securely, that that data is kept up to date, and that you're not keeping that data longer than necessary. And these key new requirements that GDPR bring in, without the addition of a software such as Breathe HR, can become quite onerous and time-consuming. So the real benefit of the system from a GDPR point of view is that it allows you as an organisation to manage things securely and work more effectively. But I hope another key learning that's come out of today is that Breathe isn't just a GDPR compliance tool. It's a wonderful added value of it, but that's not the reason for its existence. Its reason for existence is to support organisations, be that with holiday management, your absence management, managing policies, reporting on that so you can work out how you're working and working better, but again, crucially, that GDPR compliance bit. And lastly, I think to summarise, I'd really like the key message of today to be the value add that HR Inspire bring, because it is certainly one thing deciding which software to implement, but it's another consideration how you're going to implement it. How do you customise it to support your business requirements? How do you manage the ongoing administration of that with holiday requests and sick leaves and employee handbooks and so on? And then where do you go to if you need support? Well, the answer is HR Inspire. We support with all of those things. So our partnership with Breathe means that we can bring you a best-in-class piece of software at a really cost-effective price that will truly support your business to work more effectively in the future. So lastly, I would like to thank Bethan for her support today. As I say, I hope that you found it a useful overview of the system, and we will be in touch with next steps in terms of getting you live on the system. Thank you very much.